Hi guys, welcome to Chris Ryan Golf. You've joined me at the Belfry again today. We're at the driving range here at the PGA National Golf Academy, and we're going to do a video looking at the takeaway and a little bit more specifically where the club face should be during that takeaway and how this can help you hit some better golf shots, and maybe how this can maybe work you into some better positions during the backswing. So we're not so much talking about the shape of the takeaway, so how the club moves back. We're looking a little bit more about the orientation of the club face, the leading edge and where that is relative to our body, and maybe what we should be looking for and how this is maybe something that we tend to see golfers do wrong. So what I tend to see, or what I tend to hear golfers talk about is when this club reaches sort of first parallel in the backswing, so when this club reaches about this position here, they often get confused whether the leading edge should be about vertical or whether it should be slightly turned in more, okay? And that's the sort of positions that they're struggling with. Now we do see some other extremes. We do see the club face sort of very much turned down this way, and we do see the club face the other side of vertical. And we can sort of talk a little bit about how is it going to influence the golf swing as well. Now, my take on this would be, when I see that golf club at first parallel, so I'm just going to go ahead and move to that point there, okay? I would like to see the leading edge somewhere between vertical, which is in this position here, and about the same angle as I'm tilted over the golf ball, so about the same angle as I'm bent forward. If we see the leading edge between those two areas, then for me that would be about right. You know, there is no right or wrong. I would certainly have my preference, which we'll go through in a moment, but as long as we're sort of through that position there, we're generally going to be okay. What we do tend to see quite commonly is lots of golfers who have a takeaway such as this, when you can see how that's really changed. That was due to an excessive forearm rotation. Hands move out and away, the club face gets to the wrong side of vertical. That's something we tend to see quite commonly. That tends to lead to a few issues in the backswing, some recovery motions in the downswing, and we tend to struggle from there. Those golfers are often the ones who struggle with an over-the-top move. We do conversely see, you know, a little bit more of this, where the club face is too much turned down. That would be probably a bit less common, but it is something that we see. But it would be the open club face that we tend to see more often. So why are we looking for the leading edge to be about spine angle or about vertical? Well, it's all to do with how we use the forearms in the first part of the takeaway. Like I said, when that club face gets excessively open, that's normally due to excessive forearm rotation. So when we move the club into the right position, that means that the forearms have either not done much or they've done the right amount. I personally would like to see the club face, or the leading edge I should say, a little bit closer to spine angle here. Okay. For me, that means that we're going to get a more neutral takeaway. I would generally tend to find from there that the golf club during the backswing tends to work on a slightly steeper angle, which for me allows you to then lay the club down and develop some better positions into the downswing. So that would be my preference. But if I see a golfer who's got that leading edge about vertical, I'm not necessarily going to dive in there and change it. A lot of these positions do relate to the golfer, the impact and the ball flight. So we can't just isolate this position in the golf swing and say it doesn't look right, we need to change it. We have to look at the whole golf swing. What's the impact like? What's the ball flight? What are the tendencies? What's that player looking to do with their golf swing? What are we working towards? And it may well be that a change in that area can help. It may well be that we leave it alone, we don't touch it too much. The key thing here would be, I would be okay with a club face which is slightly turned in, about the same as your body is tilted over, and about vertical. It depends on how early you use those forearms. Those golfers out there who tend to set the wrists and the forearms a little bit quicker are going to find that they hit this position where the club face is a little bit more vertical. Those golfers who maybe tend to use their forearms a little bit later and set the wrists a little bit later are going to find that the club face is a little bit more turned down this way. I would tend to see more better players in this slightly turned down position because of the reasons that I spoke about earlier. It tends to lead towards a slightly steeper shaft angle in their back, allowing you to flatten a little bit more. That's a move that we tend to see a lot of golfers make. So again, just have a look at it. It may well be that you don't need to touch too much. It may well be that you fall into one of those two categories, in which case we're not going to be too worried. It may well be that you do start to do this. This is the term that golfers tend to say, they're fanning the club open, which we can kind of say what they mean. It tends to be, I say, excessive forearm rotation in the takeaway, generally not a lot of turn with the upper body, the torso and the trunk, and that tends to lead to that position there. Equally, if you are the kind of golfer who tends to work this way, that's probably something you need to work a little bit away from, because that's going to take the loft off the club face, and from there we can hit low shots, could hit left shots, and we're going to struggle to manage the club face from there. So let me go ahead and hit one, and we can see hopefully what we achieve. Now, having said what my preferences are, I'm probably going to demonstrate something completely different, because I do have a tendency to work the club a little bit inside this way, over-rotate the face, forearms work a little bit too soon. So it's certainly something that I do try to feel in my golf swing, that I try to make this move. I try to feel that my right hand stays a little bit more on top of the handle. That tends to, for me, get the club face in a slightly better position. So let's have a go. Let's see how good I can do. I've been working on this for a while, so we'll see if I can replicate what I want to do. Okay, so it certainly felt better. I need to look at that back on camera to see how well I did. I know this is, to say, something I struggle with, so when I do practice, the sort of first 4 or 5 feet of my golf swing is certainly something I do tend to work on, trying to improve. Just going to do one more. I'm going to get that same feeling. I feel good turn away. I feel my forearms aren't doing much. That helps me keep that club face where I want it. That was a slightly better shot directionally, but not perfect. Okay, so have a look at your takeaway. I say there is no right, there is no wrong. There's sort of we want to work between two positions, if that makes sense. We're okay with a club face which is slightly turned down or working towards vertical. If you fall into those categories, you're probably okay, you don't need to do too much. If you find you're extremely different to that, it may well be worth looking at that and maybe making some changes and trying to implement some better moves away from the golf ball. That may well lead to some better positions later on in the swing, and ultimately make you hit some better golf shots. Okay, so thanks for watching the video, guys. If you did like it, then please click the like button. If you've got any comments on this video or any other videos, then pop those into the box below, and I'll do my very best to respond to as many as I can. And if you haven't already, then please subscribe to this channel. You can just click the subscribe button down below. Free subscription, the videos are free. You're putting about 2 to 3 up each week. Different topics, different content, hopefully helping you understand the golf swing a little bit more, helping you understand your golf swing a little bit more. And if we can understand what we're trying to do and get the concept, then hopefully we'll play some better golf when we get a chance to get out on the golf course. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you again next time.